Bill and I are one, said Anthony Weiner in that moment. Fair and balanced debate now. We have syndicated radio host Jason Lewis, who is the author of Power Divided is Power Checked, and a UCLA political science professor, Mark Sawyer. Welcome to both of you. Good to have you here. Mark, let's start with you. What do you make of this information that Anthony Weiner, who has been on our air many times as a huge proponent of this bill, now saying, you know what, well, maybe we need to see if we can do it a better way in New York City?
I think it just shows that the critics of the bill that said that this was authoritarian, fascist, socialist, ramming it down your throats, got it completely wrong, that the bill sets forth a series of principles: universality, fairness, equal access, but then it allows the flexibility of requesting waivers if local communities with their market conditions can figure out ways to accomplish those things better and more efficiently, and that's the bill working perfectly.
You know, these waivers, let's go back on this for just a moment here, because the waivers have been given out to many unions in this country, and also other entities that have basically said, look, we cannot afford this bill, it will break us, so they have been given a waiver as well. So it makes you wonder, who's left over, Jason? Who's supposed to, take this health care reform as it is written and ascribe to it and probably deal with the rising costs that have been documented on many levels here?
It's wonderful to see my liberal friends embrace federalism and states' rights, but look, this is akin to rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. There are about 1,000 waivers that have been granted to select industries, to unions, of course, to a number of states, because they know that the onerous costs and the mandates, especially the mandates to increase the rolls of Medicaid, which is a huge problem in New York, and Representative Weiner admitted as much, is going to be a death knell for those states. So what's the point of a national plan if 1,000 waivers are granted in the first year? I think it's indicative of how flawed the whole thing is.
Mark, isn't it pretty clear that Anthony Weiner would not be considering alternatives for New York if costs weren't rising and it wasn't becoming onerous for the city?
No, it doesn't have anything to do with that. What he's trying to explain is that they have a whole different range of ways of delivering health care there, and they want to craft a system that works best for the hospitals and systems and clinics that they have in New York City.
But don't you think they're going to be looking for a cheaper way to do it? Are they not going to be looking for a cheaper way to do it?
Or a more efficient way.
More efficient than the health care plan.
Exactly. That's okay. But the whole point is that the healthcare plan sets up a series of principles. You want universality. You want to use free markets to try and get competition, but allow a universal access to it. And then in certain local conditions, you can ask for waivers on certain conditions to make sure that it fits what you want. And this is exactly a smart way to do policy, and exactly as you said, it embraces
then why not, Jason Lewis? Why not just forget the whole bill, let the whole bill go, and let all these different entities figure out the most efficient, most price-effective way to do it? Why not just do it that way then?
Because you don't want to let go the universal access. You don't want to let go.
But the universal access is what is driving prices higher.
You don't want to let go people with pre-existing conditions being able to get insurance, or kids being able to stay on their parents' health plans. You don't want to let those provisions go.
And what have we seen in the first year? What have we seen? Because of those mandates, we've seen insurance costs skyrocket. You've got a serious problem with employment. The CBO says the health care bill will lower employment by about 800,000. People are now getting their over-the-counter drugs through prescription because of the restrictions on flexible spending accounts. This thing is a house of cards. And one other legal aspect to this: by exempting so many states and so many industries, there's a general welfare problem here. The administration is going to fall back once the Commerce Clause defense goes by the wayside, and they're going to come back and say, well, we have an unlimited tax and spending power under the Constitution for general welfare. But it's not general welfare when Louisiana gets a special deal, the Cornhusker kickback, now New York. That has nothing to do with general welfare. I think legally this thing is going to be over fairly soon, to be honest with you.
Well, you know what? You may be right. We don't know that as of right now, but it's going to be very interesting to watch Anthony Weiner, the congressman from New York, as he navigates this and as he makes suggestions about what would be better for the city of New York than the current health care reform plan. We're going to be watching that really closely to see what he thinks would be better than the plan that was pushed through Congress. Gentlemen, thank you so much. Mark and Jason, great to have you with us today. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Meg.